in this video I will be talking about CELPIP writing score. That is the most awaited video because every student, when they writing like a survey or an email, they always have a question mark that how the writing is getting checked, or what are the things that we have to keep in mind so that we'll be getting CLB 9, 10, 11 or 12. Okay, so I'll be talking about all the criteria which raters, CELPIP raters keep in mind at the time of checking your writing. And another important thing that you have to keep in mind is that these writings are being checked by CELPIP raters. Raters means examiners, not computers. Okay, so there are 4 factors which are crucial for your writing, and these are: the first is content and coherence, second vocabulary, third readability, and fourth task fulfillment. All these 4 factors are considered or are kept in mind at the time of checking your writing. So let's talk about these factors in detail so that you can follow all such things at the time of writing. So the first is content and coherence. So content and coherence covers further 4 subcategories or the factors. So the very first is number of ideas. So number of ideas means, let's say you are writing an email or you are writing a survey, number of ideas are important. Make sure never give 1 idea or 2 ideas, just try to give 3 ideas. Because generally giving 3 ideas are good enough. You can easily explain your point of view and then you can give variety of things. So what I suggest, in number of ideas, since they are important, more ideas means you will get probably the better score, but it doesn't mean that you keep 7, 8 ideas, right? That's not possible. So number of ideas, I personally say you should write 3 ideas, the rest is your choice. The second is quality of ideas. So when we talk about quality of ideas, so writing for the sake of writing is not important. Your ideas should be relatable. You need to read the topic and just think about it so that your ideas should be accurate. Accurate means there should be a standard of your idea, should not like a childlike idea, because generally what happens, if you ask to a child for anything, they might come up with their childish ideas. So these childish ideas should not be written. There should be some standard or some quality of ideas. These are important. And then related to same only, organization of ideas. Organization of ideas means, let's say you have 3 ideas, so how they are organized. That should not be jumbled or interlinked. So if you have written 1 idea, that 1 idea on the number 1 should be the top priority one, then the second and the third. So clearly you should have 3 ideas that should be separated, and these ideas should be explained nicely. The most important one should be at the top and the less important one should be later on. Okay, and then examples and supporting details. So whatever you are writing, make sure you give an examples. Example doesn't mean that you should include example after every idea, or like you should explain it quite in detail. That is not needed. Just some examples or supporting details are needed. So supporting details in terms of email, if I talk about, let's say you are writing a complaint email, you purchased something online, but when you received the order, you saw that it is damaged. So now if you are writing an email to the company, you need to talk about the order details. So order details, customer ID, when did you order and when did you receive the order. So whatever the things you think, that should be there so that the person should identify you, must be written. So these are supporting details. An example, let's say in survey, I can just talk about some survey, some research, but not in very detail. Okay, so examples and supporting details are most important. Generally the students who miss these supporting details get 7 or less than 7. So if you are aiming for 9 or 10, you must write these supporting details. Specifically in email, let's say you are writing an email to the bank manager related to some kind of adjustment in your EMI or anything. So if you are writing an email to a bank manager, you should write your customer ID, your bank account number, your bank account type. So all these are the supporting details that generally students miss. Once they write, they focus on writing only. They think that these bullet points are given and they should answer them. Okay, but then always find yourself in the real situation. Think that if you are writing an email, this is something really has happened with you, and then you are writing by yourself, not for the sake of writing. You are just writing because you actually want to write an email to the other party, and in this way you will be coming up with all the supporting details naturally. Okay, so these all 4 things: number of ideas, minimum 3 ideas should be there, the quality of ideas should have some strong ideas, not very weak or weaker one, then organization and examples. These things are important, and all these things come under content and coherence. The second is vocabulary. So the first in vocabulary is word choice. Word choice is what kind of words you are selecting. Instead of asking like say and told, my manager told me to do this. Now instead of told, what else you can use? My manager ordered me, suggested me. So instead of told, ordered, suggested, requested, you can use some other things, some other words. Okay, so these all comes with when you use the word choices. When you think instead of this one, what else I can write? So something better, something advanced, instead of writing the very basic and simple word. So this is word choice. Second is suitable use of words and phrases. Suitable use of words and phrases means sometimes you use the word that can be used for something else, like when the words are not appropriate. Okay, so once are not appropriate, then obviously you will be losing marks. Okay. Then range of words and phrases. So when I say range of words and phrases means don't use the same word again and again. Just try to use different words. Just try to use some phrases. These different words and phrases express your lexical resources to the examiner. If you say, I know English, how would the other person know you know English if you are writing very basic words? Right? So write some advanced vocabulary words so that the person would actually understand your level of English and would give you score accordingly. So by the time you don't display your skills, nobody would be knowing. The next is precision and accuracy. So whatever the vocabulary, the phrases you are using, make sure that should be precise enough. Instead of elaborating the main thing like any word, you should write it in a precise way, crisp and clear. Okay, so this is all about lexical resources, word choice. Then it should be suitable enough, different, like variety of words should be there, and it should be accurate also. And when I say precision and accuracy, okay, just I'll explain how like precision and accuracy comes into scene. I've just given an example when I was talking this word choice, and I told you that instead of using told, what else you can use? Suggested, requested, ordered. Okay, so here that precision and accuracy comes into scene. That should be as per the situation. So whether the manager advised you, suggested you, requested you, ordered you, that should be accurate as per the situation and the context. Okay. Third point that comes into picture is readability. Readability is whatever you have written, if somebody is going to read it, because this is your writing. Writing means the other person gonna read it. So if somebody is going to read your writing, what are the things that is going to hinder that readability factor? If it is smooth, if it is fluent, everything is clear, that's perfect. But there are a few things that might hinder the flow of reading. Okay, so these factors are, the first is format and paragraphing. So when I say format and paragraphing, we never write the entire survey and entire email in one paragraph. We divide it into several paragraphs, might be 4, 5. And why we make it in different paragraphs? Because so the person who is reading can understand the concept of writing. So whenever we have something new to write, we always change the paragraph. That is why specifically when we write an email, if there are 3 bullet points, we make 3 separate paragraphs to answer 3 bullet points. Generally it happens. So So this is all about format and paragraphing. Next we have is connectors and transitions. Connector and transitions are the words like and, but, so, however, moreover, therefore, while, whereas. These are connectors and transitions. So these should be used appropriately and must be used so that the readability factor would be considered nicely. The next is grammar and sentence structure. The first, when I talk about grammar, so your grammar should be accurate. There should not be any grammatical errors and the sentence structure should be accurate enough. So the first is accuracy and the second is about sentence structure. So you should be writing simple sentences, complex sentences and compound sentences. So variety of sentence structure should be there. Because if you are only and only writing the simple sentences means you won't be getting more than CLB 6 or something. Why? Because your writing skills are not at expert level. You haven't written complex sentences, compound sentences, you don't know how to write them. Okay, so make sure you should write different type of sentence structure. And the next is spelling and punctuation. The best part is in real exam, in CELPIP you get a spell checker. So spell checker is there to save you. But what you should be doing is, you should have sufficient time. If there is a red line below a word means that spelling is wrong. So have a right click on your mouse, the spelling suggestions would appear, so you have to fix it by yourself. Okay, so fix all the spelling errors and punctuation because these spellings and punctuation might hinder the readability factor. And if there is something wrong, obviously you're losing marks for that. Okay, so spellings are important. Something which is not important is, if you have a confusion, this spell checker will help you, but it will not correct the spellings automatically. You have to put in your efforts to fix the spelling errors. Okay, so these four factors come under readability. And the next, but the most important we have is task fulfillment. Here is this is basically the point where majority of students make mistakes. So the first is relevance. Relevance is when you read the topic but you don't focus on each and every information given in the question prompt. If you do not read it nicely, if you don't give yourself time to understand the topic and write accordingly, obviously you might go irrelevant. So this is a very common problem. Make sure you give sufficient time to read the question and whatever you are writing should be relevant. The second is completeness. So when we talk about completeness, it is basically whatever the bullet points are there in the question, specifically in terms of email. In email, they give 3 to 4 bullet points and sometimes one bullet point also contains 2-3 questions like when and where. So make sure whatever the questions they are asking for, whatever the information they have demanded or they have requested, make sure you give all that information. So that comes for completeness. And the next is your tone. If you are writing a formal email, your tone should be formal. If you are writing an informal email, your tone should be informal. So the tone again comes for selection of words, how you are going to greet that person. So whether it is dear sir, hi there, to whom it may concern, hi David, all these comes for the tone. The way you start the conversation or the way you keep on extending that information in that survey or email. So the tone is most important thing. And the last is word count. So word count for each task is 150 to 200 words. Whether it is your email or your survey, you should be writing minimum 150, maximum 200. So what I personally suggest is, if you are targeting 9 or plus means you should write close to 200, like 190, 195, 200 you should be writing. However, if your target score is CLB 5 or 6 only, you should write near to the lower word line, that is 150, 160 is enough for you. Because if you guys are writing more than that means you will be making more errors, and making more errors you will be losing more marks. However, if you are targeting CLB 10 means you have to express all such sentence structure, transitions. So to express these sentence structure, transitions, number of ideas, you should be writing close to 200. So it can be 190, 195, 200, max you can go like 205, 210, okay, but make sure you should not go beyond that. So just set yourself a limit, that is 200, and if like one or two words are going beyond, that's okay, but don't go beyond like 220, 230, 240, no, not at all. Okay, so the word counter is there on the screen at bottom right. You will be having a word count running all the time, so you need not worry, just keep a check on word count. Okay, so these are 4 factors that you have to keep in mind. So whenever you write, make sure you keep this information in mind, that these are the things being checked by, so that you start adding the relevant things into your writing. Okay, I'll be making another videos in which I'll be explaining all such factors more in detail by taking some more examples that will make it easier for you to understand and follow. But this is all for today's video. If you like it, don't forget to hit that like button and share it with your friends. Keep learning with me. All the best.